Yeah, it's not. You don't see the blood issuing out of thin air. You don't see it pooling up on the ground.
I bet if we hollowed him out and then wore it, we'd be invisible.
And Kelian looks at the cat girl.
Bet you're missing Mrs. Fluffy Bottom.
I mean, the logic is sound, but I don't want to spend the next 8 hours trying to disembowel this guy. We have to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you're
move
right. It would
down
probably take
past
too
with
long.
the halberds carefully back
Next
down
time,
to the bottom
right?
face.
Sure, honey. Sure.
So what's Liberation doing?
I'm going back down to the base of the tower, moving carefully past the halberds, and then they're still swinging like crazy.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of looking out, kind of serving as lookout to make sure nobody comes up through the base of the tower after us.
Looking out into this room, beyond the pool, leaned up against this wall here, is your Githzerai friend. His stretcher kind of leaned up against the wall. Tending to him, to his various wounds, you see a young girl, a young gnome child, whose visage you recall from seeing in the pool when you first entered the tower. And it looks like she's examining his injuries.
Oi, little girl. Nice to see you corporeal now.
And she turns her head and looks at you. And she says, I suppose you are to be commended for rescuing this poor man. I'm not sure that I understand the bear.
The bear was a friend of mine and of all of us. And if you're in league with whoever set up these defenses for this place, you bear responsibility in his death.
I get it!
Puns.
And then Liberation just puts his hands just over his face like, God, I did not mean to say that.
And the girl seems to consider what you say. And then she responds, if he's dead, it means he wasn't clever enough to survive. And if I were you, I would be nicer to me.
Sweetie, he was a bear.
I'm not even paying attention to the cat girl at the moment.
She calls back into the tower, addressing the people behind Liberation, and says, it's safe to come out of the room now. You all passed.
What? And Riot walks down.
Past
And
what?
As you step out of the tower door, you feel your mouth loosen and open again.
Holy fuck, finally!
Oh, good, that's back now.
Who are you? Ah.
She says that she wishes that you hadn't killed the Bone Devil, but given the circumstances, she can't blame you. And she asks if you're ready to go back.
Serenity's already walked past her and going to check on Mahogany.
And
You
dead
guys
bear
killed the
carcass.
Bone Devil?
He's still a bear.
Yeah.
Is our Githzerai friend still on his stretcher? He's still propped up on the wall?
He is. She hasn't removed him from the stretcher. She just brought him out of the room and she's examining his wounds.
Okay.
Kelian goes up to the gnome girl. How much taller is Kelian than this girl?
Kelian's considerably tall, and she looks like a young gnome. So, like, a lot.
All right.
Like, she could look up and have a conversation with your knees.
What's your deal, girl?
She says she's a member of the Alchiondac Order. And since she
Kelian gives
repeats,
a
are you
shifty-
all ready to go back?
Gives a shifty
We need-
glance to...
We need some way to carry our friend's body.
And she looks at Riot quizzically and says, and you would want that worthless thing?
Hey, that's not
Far
very
from
nice.
worthless.
It's worth a lot to me.
She shrugs. This is very well. She follows you into the room, summons a Tensier's floating disc, and you all are able to roll Mahogany's grisly body. Like, the puns. Ah! We can't not do it!
God damn it!
Mine was better, though. Just...
Ferocity turns to Riot and goes,
They were polar opposites.
if you value him a lot, does that mean you have to give 90% of him away?
Okay, first of all, I'm not even a revolutionary. I'm an indep.
Oh, that's right. You're just a bard.
Yeah.
What are you right now?
What?
What's your clothes look like?
Actually, if because her smash guitar is in her pack, and she's been waving around this fork and is wearing these priest robes, for us, they would probably presume her to be a cleric.
That's really good.
So, she brings the floating disc bearing Mahogany's corpse out into the main room. And who is it that rolled the corpse in over? Serenity and who else? It would take several of you.
Right.
It would probably take more than two of you. It's a grizzly bear.
Ferocity will help out.
Okay. And she asks, before we go back, would you mind also retrieving our friend the devil? And she motions for you to load him up onto the disc.
And Riot says, "You want that worthless thing?"
She says,
I've
oh,
never seen a bone devil before.
it's very not worthless. That's why it hadn't been killed yet. She says, trust me, it'll be worth your while as well.
Right.
Fair enough.
Kilian's thoughts are, can I just crush this girl with my foot?
Serenity just kind of pushes past. She grabs the bone devil. Is it big enough for her to carry?
It's probably
It's a
too
large
heavy
creature.
for her to carry alone, but you
Okay.
and probably Liberation could
Ferocity.
drag it pretty easily.
Absolutely
Yeah.
going to help out dragging this bone devil. That
Okay.
sounds
While,
awesome.
while they're doing that, Riot realizes she has use for magic back and takes her guitar out and starts casting mending on it.
And mends it? Okay.
While they're gone.
After this is done, after the
But
disc is
Serenity
loaded...
is not putting the bone devil on the disc. She's leaving that for Mahogany. She'll just carry it.
So you're going to hoist up the bone devil and carry it?
Yeah.
Let me...
I'm not putting it on the disc with Serenity with Mahogany.
I think Mahogany would be disappointed if you didn't. You and Liberation working together can probably drag this bone devil, but carrying
with
it is
that.
probably not likely because it's a large creature. It's very heavy.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
And the little girl seems almost impressed with your show of, and she's not sure what to call it, and she settles on morality. Hopefully someday you will be cured of that. And then she begins to speak an incantation. And as she does, the darkness leaves the tower. You hear the sound of water filling the fountain ahead of you. And after a few moments, you find yourself standing in the tower as you first saw it, when you first entered. And she bids you to come upstairs, and she will introduce you to the other present members of her order.
But we were just upstairs and there was nothing up there.
Aw, sweetie, keep up. I told you about the two farts of the tower.
She's heading down this way.
Okay.
Wait, that goes down.
That goes up. The arrows are pointing
Yeah,
up.
they go up.
Yeah.
I
This one was
I described it as going down because I'm dumb last week.
Okay,
I had
well,
I had a
thanks for bringing
dumb.
up Brick Road.
He did eventually correct himself, but if you missed that, then yeah.
Good job at dumb, Brick
We're,
Road.
we're both dumb. We both had a dumb.
Right.
This new map seems like the perfect opportunity to spawn in new Final Fantasy 3 tiles. That's all I'm saying.
I can't actually just spawn those in and those alone, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. What else is with them, out of curiosity?
What else is what?
Is with them in that little pack?
Narishim actually made those. He made every single Final Fantasy 3 job and all of the Final Fantasy 2 characters.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, what else is with them that you can't just spawn them in on their own?
I think it's its own table, and Burke
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
saves
yeah.
that table.
I get you.
Right. I took the
Make
individual pieces that you guys use and saved them to a particular group to the chests.
Gotcha.
Brooke wasn't expecting it to be this important, but now that he knows it is.
All right. Fine. God, people. Fine. Hold on. Let me go into the workshop here.
I'm also voting for switching Cyclone to the Dark Knight
Oh, those are the.
for
Oh my
liberation.
God! What? I
That's
haven't.
FF1.
What?
Whoa!
I
what
haven't
is
seen this
background?
Hi.
Dude, this is.
What is this background? Look at this.
That
I
was-
don't think this is what you meant.
No, it's that's the
Is that
wrong
a duck?
thing.
This seems ominous.
Oh, those are
That
little
isn't it
paper
either.
ones. Where's the ones Nourishing made? Let me. I'm trying to find it. Trying to do right by you guys.
We believe in you.
There we
There
go.
it is.
Yeah.
There we go.
Which
Anybody
one
who
am I
wants
out
to
of this
change a
one?
tile, stack it up over here somewhere.
Or Leon, maybe.
Over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Leon. Why not?
Okay.
Should I grab my old character?
No,
Should I
don't.
grab
Don't.
one?
If you're not
Okay.
changing, don't grab a new one.
Okay.
So just these
Can
two.
someone name that tile for me so he saves it?
Nobody name anything yet, because I got to make alterations to it.
Oh, okay.
So.
I can't name it because my keyboard's not working.
Nice.
Because they're not the same size. These ones are slightly. We made them slightly smaller. All right, so we're ditching this old one here.
Yeah.
Naming.
Liberation.
I'll let you guys name them.
That's
Get them named, and then I will save all of them together.
Someone type mine in. Make sure you spell it correctly.
Are we done? Not
No,
yet.
someone needs to do it. Nick, I only
did
trust
it.
you.
I did it.
Yeah,
I did it.
Oh,
Yeah,
weird.
did it.
It didn't work for me. There it is. Thank you.
Hooray.
Well, hold on, don't take them yet.
Oh, okay.
I got to save them to the chest, otherwise we got to go through this every time I spawn them in.
That sounds fun too, though.
No. No, it really doesn't. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Oh, it's an option on the right-click menu, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. All right, we're good. Go ahead and take them now.
Where are we entering? Right here? Yeah, here is.
Yeah, you're coming upstairs. Now, in the center of this upstairs room, Ferocity, this is where previously on this floor you found the message scrawled into the ground in arcane runes. There's no such message in this room. Instead, there's a large round table around which are sitting an eclectic group of characters. The first one is a female Githzerai. She's dressed differently than everyone else in the room. The other characters in the room, including this little girl who's bringing you upstairs, are dressed wearing wizardly robes from the same order, matching coloration and insignia. The Githzerai woman, however, is not. She's dressed in just a simple tunic and breeches, and around her neck, she's wearing a wooden medallion with the sigil of the Anarch's Guild.
You mean the Revolutionary League?
No, the Anarch's Guild.
Oh, the Anarch Guild. That's right.
The second person you see is an old human. Not extremely old, maybe in his late 50s or so, salt and pepper beard. He has this very stern, stony visage on his face, and perched on his shoulder is a tiny red imp with his tail curled around the man's neck. He's dressed in the Alchiondac robe. The third character you see is the little girl's twin, identical in every way, except the one bringing you upstairs has green hair, and the one you see in the room, perched on a specially made chair so that she can sit as equals with the rest of her order, has purple
high
hair.
chair.
The last member of the Alchiondacs you see is a rogue Modron. So he's wearing his robes kind of awkwardly, to say the least. But he has a perfectly square chair that's pulled up. In addition, they're all wearing faction colors.
He's a quadrone?
Yes, all Rogue Modrons are quadrones.
Oh, okay.
Or they're quadrone shaped, at least. The Modron, they're all wearing faction colors. He's wearing the colors of the Doomguard. Both of the little girls are wearing colors of the Sensates. And the old man with the imp is wearing the colors of the Fraternity of Order.
What about the Githzerai woman?
Anarch's Guild.
Okay.
She's got her wood medallion. The Anarch's Guild is not a faction, it's a planar sect based on Limbo. Mm-hmm. They are especially talented chaos shapers. They have the ability to shape chaos without concentrating on it. So didn't we meet someone who did that? Yes, well, Elsie Clone did. Because
okay, that's right. Yeah.
He's the one in Sigil who trained Elsie Clone to control his chaos limbs.
Yeah. But is she not wearing... other than that, she's not wearing faction colors?
No, because she's not Sigillian.
Oh, okay.
In Limbo, most settlements in Limbo have one Anarch who lives and operates there, who keeps the shape of the entire city or settlement or whatever together. This is a very structured and very organized group, which is uncharacteristic of Limbo, but very characteristic for the Githzerai, who are so good at it. So, it's pretty clear that this woman is not a member of the Alchiondac Order. She's in their employ as their Anarch.
Gotcha. And Riot sizes them all up and says 4 of you, huh? I thought there'd be 8.
The little girl sitting at the table, the one with purple hair, says, immediately after your little snark, turns to the old man at the table and says, "And that's why I sealed her mouth." The old man just gives a stern nod. There are many chairs at the table. And he motions for you all to sit. He asks if any of you are in need of refreshment.
Ooh, I want something. Do you have any Limbo drinks?
He says he can offer you... Actually, the Anarch responds by creating a decanter on the table and filling it with crystal clear water.
I'm going to pull up a chair and sit backwards.
Okay.
Ooh, water. Because I liked it so much the first time.
Who has access to a DMG that can look up how much it's going to cost to have Mahogany raised? Because I don't want to do it.
500 is, if I recall.
Okay.
That's how much the spell component is.
Right, but then there's a calculation for hiring spellcasters. I think it's in the DMG. It might be in the players. I don't remember.
I'll check it on the DMG. I've got one right here.
The old man, after you all sit down, he says, "I'm afraid we have you at a disadvantage. We know all about you. Some from our own observations. And Serenity, did you guys drag the Bone Devil upstairs, or did you leave him down there?"
I would have left it
Okay.
in the central room.
Kelian's not sitting yet. He's standing behind everybody.
Okay. Yeah, he says, "We have you at a disadvantage. We know all about you. Some from our own observation, and some information that we managed to squeeze out of our friend Vepdal downstairs."
Oh yeah?
That's what that piece of trash was called.
And he says, "The Plain Talkers, eh?"
That's our name. Don't wear it out.
That's such a good name.
He introduces his companions around the table, beginning with the Anarch sitting to his right, who's introduced as Ashal Dranara. He advises you not to speak with her because she doesn't have a sense of humor or a personality. To which Ashal does not respond at all.
My sense of humor was pretty much drained about an hour ago.
Sitting to his left in the two high chairs, he introduces Devonsis the Both. And then to her left, he introduces the Modron, Mr. E.
That is a great Modron name.
Hi.
He says he commends Ferocity in particular. They have been running the tower game for many, many years, and this is the first time he's ever seen two disparate parties cooperate. Usually, either a group will succeed in destroying the invisible servant and his heart and escaping, or they will fall into disrepair, fight amongst themselves. On the occasions that there are more than one group in the tower, they fight each other, believing them to be enemies.
So this
That
is
doesn't
just a
seem
game
right.
to
I'm
you?
sure people would help each other if they.
We did a little bit of both.
80 turns
By
to
the way,
liberation.
did you name Mr. E last? Like he's on the end of one of the sides.
He's sitting. Mr. E would be sitting next to Serenity up here.
All right, Ferocity stands up and goes to sit next to Mr. E because he's way better.
There's not a chair to sit next to him because Serenity's on one side and
Serenity.
Devin
let me
Sis
sit
the
next to
both is on the
Modron.
other. The old man looks at liberation and says, "Everything is a game. We're playing many games, all of us, every day. The trick is to know the rules. You all played by the rules and you won, and you should be commended. And it is now my fervent hope that you will join me in playing a larger game. A game to which I do not know the rules."
You're talking about Aunt Nancy's game.
He says, "You're goddamn right, I'm talking about Aunt Nancy's game."
Liberation just he's really pissed right now because this is what's going through his head. He calls this a game, and Mahogany died because of it.
Do you
Well,
vote, do you give
right,
voice to that?
Yes, I do.
Riot will point out that the Bone Devil also died. Right now, we haven't made alliance with these people. We need to do that so that nobody else dies.
The old man says, "It's only natural, young man, that you feel anger at what has happened to your friend and what has been done to you." He says it was unfair. And hopefully in that you will take a lesson. No game is fair. No players are equal. We are your betters. It's true we hope to make use of you, but we also would like to see you win. We've decided that you should win Aunt Nancy's game.
Well, that makes... And does, like, Riot
I'm
kind of figures 12 of us.
Do I get to be in?
No. You
What does
don't.
Kelian say?
I'm confused as to why we need your permission to win the game.
He says you don't, but you will need our assistance, because the other players have you outmatched by a great amount. No doubt our friend, he keeps calling him his friend, McDohl, downstairs, contacted you the same way he contacted us.
Is Zeptal the Bone Devil?
He's talking about the Bone Devil.
Yes, in your dreams.
The difference is, my order had the ability to snare him through the very conduit that he opened. He underestimated us.
Nice trick.
He says the other members of his order, the other 4 people that Aunt Nancy named as players, the other 5 people. They're currently out and about in the multiverse, making contact with the other teams, judging which ones are worth working with, which ones have power, which ones don't. There are a batch of gnomes that I believe to be absolutely hopeless.
We just paid their entry fee, so to speak.
He says, but the 3 of us, and he motions to himself, the girls, and the Modron.
There's 4 of you.
No, it's great.
He says, we were all named as players, and so were 5 of our brethren. But we don't care to play the game, or win it. We are deeply interested in the rules.
So you haven't played at all? You haven't been through any of the rounds yet?
On the contrary, they've completed every round so far with flying colors. Every task Aunt Nancy has given us, we've completed. It's our opinion that if we don't take part in the game, if we don't participate, we may be denied access to the next level.
So how did you end up going to Mechanos and doing that whole bullshit?
He says they were not instructed to go to Mechanos.
Huh.
Obviously, not every team would have been assigned to kill the same god.
One of the gnomes speaks up, and she says, "It's been our experience that to date, the teams have been given tasks catered to their own capabilities and ambitions."
Well, that's kind of fucked. How do they expect a whole bunch of losers like us to kill a god, and you guys to do what? Make
No,
a souffle? What?
And the old man at the head of the table, "My young friend, like I said, the game is not fair.
Listen, I'm
players
sure
are not
they'll kill
equal."
it next time.
So can I venture to guess that you want us to win because of all the teams that are playing? We're the only ones actively testing the rules.
Yes, actually, that's exactly why we want you to win. We believe the further you go in the game, the further you will push the boundaries of those rules. By testing the boundaries of those rules, you will discover information, discover secrets that will help my order and our mission here.
We never got a straight answer if we're still in the game or not. Because last we spoke to Aunt Nancy, I had just died, and apparently
We've had one death and one defection.
Actually, 2 deaths
Two.
now.
2 deaths.
No,
now.
Thanks
deaths,
for that,
but-
by the way.
But we can raise
Thanks
this.
for that.
It's not quite the same situation as with Liberation and LC Clone. Mahogany's still a player. LC Clone never will be again.
And so, let us discuss the terms of a possible alliance between the Plane Talkers and the Alchiondac Order. We know that you were sent here.
Fellow calling himself Koranu.
It's true.
We don't know Koronu's connection to the game.
We don't either. What we know is that, and stop me if you heard this one already, he was told that he and his friends need help from the players, quote unquote. It sounds to me like indirectly Koranu and his friends are the next stage in the game.
We did attempt to investigate his keep on Mount Celestia.
We know that's why he sent us.
Yeah.
So what will you tell him about us?
Well, that you guys decided to play games with our lives. That'll be number one.
Depends a lot on what you're willing to part with.
He asks,
You have all the answers. We need more.
He asks Mr. E to take down minutes, at which point one of his arms whirs and clicks into place, retracts into his body, and a new appendage comes out from where it inserted. Instead of a grasping hand on the end, it's an appendage that has 4 ink quills working independently of each other. And he begins furiously scratching down notes from the meeting.
That's awesome.
The old man says, "Let's start here. Tell us what you know about the rules of the game."
We know that what Aunt Nancy says, what he asks, can be taken literally. He didn't kick us out after we failed to kill Osprey. We did literally what he asked, which was to take the relic from Osprey's domain, and in so doing, succeeded to the next level of the game.
We know the rules don't necessarily carry over between rounds because we're still in it, but we've had a death.
Right. The rules for one round don't apply to the next necessarily. So they could change all the time.
He looks at the rest of you who haven't spoken yet.
We know that you can get help because I was able to help you guys.
That's true, and it's also true that not every round need to be carried by every player. Some rounds we have outside help, some rounds we don't have help from our own. We have 3 members who rarely participate, truth be told.
What's Kelian's addition to this?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He's not talking.
What about liberation? Leon Beration?
You muted?
Did McDohl drop? Is he gone?
Can't hear you. Blink twice if you're in trouble.
Sorry about that. I was in the other room, actually. I was actually using the head. I didn't want to interrupt anything.
What's Liberation's addition to this conversation?
I've been overhearing it, and I really have no input. The only thing that I remember that pops into my head was the fact that two of this group died on Eastguard and came back to life.
Kelian is more trying to judge their reactions, see if he can't get anything.
Make an insight check.
I can do that.
What was that like?
Horrible and painful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got
come
torn apart by
on,
werewolves.
really?
It's very difficult to read because the old man who's doing the bulk of the talking, his face doesn't change a lot. And the other people in the room are a pair of giggling gnome twins and a Modron who has said nothing so far. They seem interested in everything that's being said.
It may be possible to switch team members, we don't know yet. Like I said, we've had a couple of changes up in our lineup since last time. We're not yet sure if Aunt Nancy has accepted them. But we'll find out soon, I guess.
And your contact with other teams.
Yes.
Fill us in on that.
Oh, well, that's a story. And then Riot
That's a
starts to tell the story.
Yeah, that's a fuck of a story.
Ferocity is splitting her attention between listening to the story and looking over Mr. E's corner to read what he's writing down.
And he's writing in a language that Ferocity doesn't speak. It resembles mathematical formula more than written language. But right now he's not writing anything. He's waiting very intently for somebody to answer the old man's questions.
Yeah, so we're telling him about all the rigmarole that we went through to get these gnomes into the game and how reluctant they were and all the resistance and internecine conflict between the family members and this, that, the other.
And what other teams do you tell him about?
We know that the Sultry 7 are dead, all save for their sponsor.
Okay. And what else?
That's it.
You know of at least one other team. My question is, are you withholding that information from him? You talked to Vepdal about it last week.
Yes, but I'm withholding that because they have had access to the same information from Vepdal that we have.
Okay.
So I don't feel like there's a need for us to tell them about that.
So the old man waits.
All the stuff about the middle bobs is new to them. The stuff that Vepdal has is not.
Okay. So the old man waits for a few moments and lets the silence hang in the air. And then he asks Riot. And that's it?
And the stuff from Vepdal that you know.
And one of the little girls, who seems like she can't contain the words anymore, blurts out, "He's not fishing for new information. We're looking to see how open you'll be with the information you have." And the old man gives her a stern look.
Then yeah, we know about Duke Rensterius, the Lich in the Abyss, and his army. And the team of Immortals? Did we remember hearing that right? The team of Immortals, right?
Devils are immortal.
I think that was written for reference to the devils.
Okay, just in the interest of being open.
And so you fill them in on like the dreams that they sent you on Mechanos, etc.
Yeah, I mentioned how they nearly killed one of us, so we killed one of them. It's just Chicago way.
What's Chicago?
No, I'm kidding.
No, I absolutely want that to be a real thing.
And the Anarch makes a Chicago pizza and plays there.
Yeah.
Nice.
The old man
It's a single way.
cranes his neck, looks over the table at Kelian, who's brooding against the back wall. And he says, the two of you, referring to Riot and Serenity, the two of you have been very forthcoming. I'm concerned that your friends, and he motions to Kelian and Liberation, have reservations that they won't be able to push past in working with us.
That's likely, but don't worry, we always bring him around.
And he stands from the table. The little girls hop out of their high chair. Mr. E retracts his quill. And the man, he says, we'll give you the room. Holler when you've brought them around. And they begin to exit the room in various directions. The Anarch is the only one who stays on this floor. She heads into this room here. The rest of them leave and go downstairs.
I almost forgot that there was a table. I was so focused on my notes. Which room did the Anarch go in?
The Anarch went into
13?
13 here.
Okay, 13.
And she closes the door behind her. The rest of them went down these stairs because none of them want to walk past Kelian.
So when they leave, Kelian will speak up, and he says, my reservation is that we've just given them a whole lot of information, and we've gotten very little in return.
I guarantee you they knew all of it already.
Which is fine. But I still want information from them.
And if you play along, we'll get it. That goes for you too, Mr. Pouty Pants.
I'm going to change Liberation's character sheet to say Mr. Pouty Pants now. Give me a second. What's Serenity's take on that?
I mean, Serenity's pretty disjointed from the whole conversation, aside from what she's chipped in. She hasn't really said much.
Okay.
Information is power. And if they really know all about this,
Then they're telling the truth. They've said they've got a lot of power. They've got a set advantage. Do you think that that's not true? I think it is.
it's easy
Look,
for them to say that when we have no basis of comparison.
It's been about an hour, right, since that we spent in the tower. Frosty is gonna. I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm gonna go to the little girl's room.
So you're going into the library?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I'll work with them however much you're willing to work with them. It's just I'm a little unhappy with them treating this as some kind of game to them.
And
That's
I
my
might be,
reservation.
and I might be putting on a polite face, but I am too. Don't mistake that.
Good. But no, I will definitely work. I just had very little to contribute.
The thing about diplomacy is you got to lie about how you feel sometimes.
Right.
So what's the decision?
We in?
I'm in.
Take it to a vote. Everyone agreed to be in. Right, raise his hand.
I'm in.
I'm in.
What did
Frosty
not-
raises both hands.
You're not in anything. You're just here.
I'm here.
What did
That's
Corner
right.
want us to do with with this order
He
that I
wanted
can't
us-
pronounce?
If I'm remembering right, he wanted us to find out if they would be able to help, I guess, with their problem.
He wanted to discern their intentions, essentially. Find out if they were friend or foe.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he was using you because this is
Yeah.
your test to
So-
see if you can be trusted with information about portals to the Prime Material.
So when they get back, when
We have
ask
not
them
shared
what-
that information with them, right?
What were you saying, McDohl?
So yeah, it's like when basically what other McDohl was saying is basically we haven't actually put that information out to them yet.
Okay.
Because it's not part of the game.
Okay.
At least, maybe.
In that case, Kelian will feign reluctantly being on board, but he just sees the value information and he has no basis of comparison on how much they really know.
Yeah, so we need to ask them what their intentions were on the Mount Celestia.
Okay.
Okay.
So you retrieve the Alchiondacs?
Yeah. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is message down there because now I can and it feels so good.
Okay. And the response
Hey,
to
we're
the
all on board.
message... Who are you messaging?
Devin says to both.
Okay. And the response to the message, again, she kind of blurts out, "We heard everything you said. I use clear audience. It's great."
Expected that, yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually the Alchiondacs come back in. The old man takes a friendlier stance with you now. He drops the stern visage. He tells you that you can call him Gerald.
Gerald?
That name will suffice. So what is required of the Alchiondacs as far as reporting to Corinu?
He wants to know why you were there.
One
what
of
you were
the
doing
8
poking around.
groups playing the game is a group called the Cartensen Brotherhood. They are an order of free knights that are loosely organized on Mount Celestia. Occasionally, they butt heads with the Plains Militant because the Cartensen Brotherhood believes in some nonsense about the greater good for mankind and so on, and not so much about protecting the Plains specifically.
That's so romantic.
Corinu, however, was friendly with the Brotherhood on many occasions, and in the wake of all of their untimely deaths, I felt we could learn something about them by visiting his holdfasts. The Brotherhood, 8 of them at least, were players in the game. They played badly, and now all 24 of them are dead. They were the first team to lose this game.
How did they die?
I would imagine
We have one team that's not slow to kill other teams.
Yeah.
He asks what
Are
your
we right?
first task was.
Our first task was to not die. It sounds like they failed miserably.
They did. Instead of taking the game seriously, the Cartensen Brotherhood, who were also informed to not die, picked a fight with some fiends on Beator, and McDohl and his companions took advantage of it. The Cartensens were killed, and the game advanced to the next level. The second team to be disqualified were the Sultry Seven. Unfortunately, they are now all dead as well.
We ran into their last on Mechanos.
Riot asks after their sponsor. Even the one back on the Prime?
Let me check my notes real quick. He said as far as he knows, their sponsor is in Sigil and was not one of the 8 members. However, the Alchiondacs have not seen any particular need to make contact with this individual because they don't think he knows anything valuable.
Riot will tell them what she learned from that guy's mind about their 8th player. Because there was some nobleman back on a Prime or something that was their 8th player.
In Sigil, not on the Prime.
Oh, in Sigil? Okay.
Yes.
But he was a player. I mean, he was on their team.
That's what you got from the guy's mind, yes.
Yeah.
But now this man's telling you something different.
Okay.
He says he's willing to share a little bit of information he has about the other teams as a show of good faith.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know me and my order.
Mm-hmm.
A humble band of hedge wizards attempting to make their way in this multiverse of ours. And when he describes the Alchiondac order like that, the gnome girls snicker in their chairs. You know Vepdal's group. Unfortunately, Vepdal is not the highest member of his group. We don't know that person's identity. We know that he is very likely a pit fiend, which means he has resources far in excess of the rest of us. We know of Duke Gronsterius, again, an abyssal warlord, an undead lich, who also has vast resources to tap into.
That's 7 so far that I'm getting. Plus the middle bobs, which
Well,
you know.
there are the middle bobs and the plane talkers, of course. The last is a group of pirates whose ship sails the Astral. We know the least about them. As far as they know, so far they have not contacted any other team, nor has any other team contacted them. We don't know their identities. We're attempting to learn the name of their vessel. Several
Do you know
of...
that?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Do you know that all 8 players are members of these pirates?
He doesn't, for sure.
Okay.
In fact, he doesn't even know if the team is still playing. It's entirely possible the team has been disqualified for death or some other reason. It's very dangerous making contact with astral pirates.
Nothing I've ever tried.
The broken chain. Because they're pirates on the Astral.
Okay, listen, just because you say that doesn't actually make it true.
Yeah, but it could be.
He says what he wants you all to do is to work the angle at Koronu's end. When they went to his holdfast, they were not aware that Koronu was connected to the game at all. They were there to look into his connections with this Brotherhood of Knights.
Do you intend to return to Corny's holdfast at any point?
He says he doesn't have to. He has you now.
So when Koronu asks us what were their intentions regarding the holdfast, we can honestly tell them their business is done.
Very much. You can tell him honestly that we had business with the Cartensen Brotherhood and had reason to believe that they had visited the holdfast or left word there. That's where we learned that the last of the knights had been killed.
All right, then.
I'm assuming, since this is new information to you, that Koronu didn't know that these knights were players.
Looks that way.
May I
I think
offer a piece of advice?
Mm-hmm.
Guard very carefully that information you have that Koronu doesn't know. Knowledge is
Makes
a weapon.
sense.
It is an advantage that you can press. And you never know when you'll have to press an advantage with the likes of someone like Koronu.
Already tried to kill me once.
And he looks at you and says, I tried to kill you more than that.
Touche.
But I have knowledge that you want, and you are pressing that advantage.
That's actually your advantage. Got that backwards.
Gerald says, he reiterates once again, that his order is not interested in playing the game to the conclusion. He feels that his order benefits the most by learning the rules and boundaries of the game. That will increase their understanding of the multiverse, which is why they're here.
Can I ask what your second and third rounds were like?
He says that you can ask, but it's not likely you will receive an answer.
I just figured as long as we were all being open and honest with each other.
What I will tell you is that we passed the second and third rounds, and we didn't do it on technicalities like you did. If Aunt Nancy has a good side, we're on it, and you perhaps are not.
We get along okay.
Do you know who Aunt Nancy is?
At this, the Modron pipes up for the first time, and he says, "Far be it for any of us to guess at the mind of a power."
So you know about as much as we do then.
Yeah.
The old man says that they've met with Aunt Nancy several times at this very table. They have had very invigorating conversations with him, during which they learn absolutely nothing. The man speaks...
You're lucky then. He comes to you. We have to go to him.
Yeah.
Well, we're in Sigil.
You live
Yeah,
in... Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
He can't go to you. And that's one of the things that intrigues me about your team. He picked a group of people who live and operate in the one place in the multiverse that he can't step foot. That's what you all have in common. You're all Sigillians.
It's true.
And he looks at Ferocity and says, "Maybe not you."
I'm kind of.
Yeah. Who are you anyway?
So it
I'm
is.
Ferocity.
Sorry.
Why were
And-
you here before?
The old man tells... Well, we're going to let Nodal explain it, but it's the old man answering the question. So, Nodal, you can explain what Ferocity was doing at the tower.
Ferocity was just got to Sigil, had a horrible experience because she teleported into the hive, managed to survive it, and joined up with the Sensates. Because I mean, like, curiosity, you know, like they're into trying out stuff.
You know it killed the cat.
That's
Not yet.
just a metaphor.
So yeah, that's the old man. Well, why did she come to the tower, though?
She came to the tower because she came to Limbo to get a chance to see inside her own head, so that she could figure out what exactly she wanted to do, whether she wanted to stay in Sigil or not. And then she saw the tower, and she thought, well, I mean, that could be part of what I'm thinking, because, you know, I'm worried about Sigil, and Sigil's got a lot of towers, and towers have lights on them. And then by the time she thought her way through that thought, she was in the front door. And then she got offered some nice water, and I mean, she's a sensate.
By the way, did anybody drink the water in the decanter in the center of the table?
Oh,
Nope.
Ferocity is already drinking all of it.
Going through it all again. All right. So the old man simply points out that Ferocity was following the whims of her own curiosity, and that had she died in the tower, she would not have been the first one killed in that manner. Many people arrive here having heard rumors that they can find here wealth or riches or magic or the answers to questions. The reason the Planetalkers succeeded, where so many others have failed, is that you came here with a unified purpose. You came here with a goal in mind, and you followed that conviction to its conclusion. You bypassed the ridiculous traps, you fought the ridiculous monsters, you even managed to survive us sealing all of your most powerful abilities. And then he looks at Liberation and says, "And you had the foresight to bring with you one so young that there was no darkness to yet manipulate."
Liberation grins.
Can I ask
Now
you
he's in a
quick
good
question?
mood. Yeah.
You mentioned before, one of the first things you said was that we went through the tower and played by all the rules. Does that disappoint you?
He shakes his head. He says, and he motions to the sigil he's bearing on the shoulder of his robes. He says, I'm a governor. I'm all about rules.
Right, but you're backing us in this whole Aunt Nancy game because you're expecting us not to do that.
He says he doesn't know what the rules to the game are. In learning them, we will understand more about the multiverse. You and your group don't care about the rules. You care about winning. You care about furthering your own agenda. You've bent rules, you've broken others. By your own admission, you may be on the outs with this power. But you still press on. That's why I believe deep understanding of Aunt Nancy's game will come by backing your team over all the others.
But you don't want to play it yourself and learn about
They
the
are
rules
playing.
yourself. But
He
They
says
don't want to win.
he says he doesn't care about winning the game. His order, he does not... He doesn't elaborate as to why, except to reiterate that his order gains more by learning the structure of the game, by testing its boundaries and seeing how far it can be pushed, rather than taking it to the conclusion and winning. So that's the deal he's offering you. You continue to push the boundaries and bring information to him about Aunt Nancy and the game, and then when the time comes, when it's just the two of you standing, they'll step aside.
Is that the most you're willing to offer us in the way of assistance, or do we have a real alliance?
He asks what else you need.
And Riot points over at the carcass. We could use our 5th player back.
You're a priest, right? Just bring it back.
She's
Gerald,
a fairly new priest.
whose spells don't work this far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gerald looks over at Mr. E and says, under the circumstances, I believe you can offer our new friends a discount. And Mr. E responds, you know that I don't like to do that. And Gerald says, I know, but in this occasion I do insist.
Offer discounts or revive people your tower kills.
And Mr. E responds, reviving anybody. It is an abomination of the multiverse.
Maybe
Drink,
you
I
should kill
tried.
fewer people then.
Modron
I tried
said
and I
that.
could not find that chart. The index of the DMG is not like 7th sea level bad, but it's not helping me find this.
He sets the price at 600 gold. He will bring Mahogany the bear back.
And will whatever effect that drinking that water downstairs be reversed on him?
And one of the little girls pipes up and says, if it doesn't happen automatically, I can dismiss it on my own.
Riot scrounges her pockets and comes up with 82 gold.
I've got 11 on me.
Let me see how much Kelian has on him.
How much is Ferocity chipping in?
I have
Ferocity
thousands
has
back
some
in
rope.
Sigil. I have 11 on me.
Wait, where'd my rope go?
I've got 10 flat. I've got 76 gold on me.
I got 60 gold, and then I've got 100 plat on me.
You got 100 plat.
I got 100 plat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at this guy here.
So do we have 600?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Wipes out a lot of Kelian's petty cash, though.
The little girl brings the floating disc and sets it on the table, lowers it down. So Mahogany's bear carcass with the deflated brain is laying there.
What's the difference?
Mr. E's arms retract again into his body. And when they return, each hand is holding... Oops, there we go. Each hand is holding a gear. Not a functional gear, a symbolic one, just the shape of a gear. And he says, I would like the record to show that I am performing this spell under duress, and for no other reason.
You're the one writing the record.
Riot writes down on a slate. Under duress, no reason, got it.
Gerald seems to find that amusing. And he says, the record reflects as such. Proceed. Money changes hands. And Mr. E raises Mahogany from the dead. So here is The last question I will ask before we take our break. The $10 million question. Raise Dead only functions if the target is willing. So, Mahogany, does he want to come back to life?
Yeah.
He says...
I mean, Mahogany does. The player is more...
Let the record show I'm only coming back to life under duress.
So to simplify matters, I just knocked 60 platinum off of my own.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll pay
Oh,
you
yeah.
back my
Oh,
share.
all right.
Go back to Sigil.
I probably won't.
I am 100% shocked that no one rifled through Mahogany's pockets.
He doesn't have pockets, he's a bear.
It was a bear.
It all like merged into him or something.
Yeah.
God.
All his shit merges into him.
Yeah.
So,
All that there's 13 like pearls sitting in a hoard of 2 million gold somewhere.
the bear comes back to life, and for a moment, you feel like you did in the tower previously. You feel as though your personality is gone and that you are, in fact, a bear. But then, everything kind of comes back like a tidal wave. And now you are Mahogany again, in bear form, laying on a Tensor's floating disc, in the middle of a table, staring at a Modron wearing robes holding gears, twin multicolored hair gnomes, a small imp creature, and a cat girl. And with that, we're going to take a break.
Way too close, cat girl.
We are going to take 50. Actually, let's take 20, because I haven't eaten today. Usually I eat before the game. I set my alarm for 12:30. I wake up, I make something to eat. Today, my parents banged on the door at 11:30 and woke me up, and I was visiting with them and didn't eat, so.
I forgot to eat lunch this morning. That's why I stepped
I
out.
didn't either.
It's time for second breakfast.
Yeah, we got
Second breakfast.
now.
How about 11sies?
All right. See you
All right.
guys. I'll grab something to eat too.
All right, let's reconvene at 4:40, and we'll get into the second half of today's session. I'll see you all then.
Okay.